So good evening, everyone. And I don't know, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I can see people joining from Kenya. I can see people joining from Vancouver and some parts of the world. So here in Nigeria, I'm in Nigeria actually, and here in Nigeria is 6:37 p.m. So I say good evening all. My name is Abdurrahman Suleiman. Initially, I said the project is all about S3. I know what S3 is. For those of us that are beginners here that have not done maybe some projects but are willing to start a project, S3 is just a data storage where we store our data, where we store our objects on AWS. There are others, but the popular one is Amazon S3. So we want to see that in this project we go ahead and do a project that can be able to make us back up our data, be it in the same region or in another region, which is cross region. But for today, what we are going to do is going to be based on same region replication. So we want to see that we have a data in a region, but in different buckets, and anything that we do to the data in one of the region, it will automatically replicate in another bucket. Let's just start by, let me share my slide and then start the presentation. Let me share my screen. I want to share my screen now. I don't know, can anybody see my screen?
Yep, I can see your screen.
All right, thank you. Thank you. The introduction here. Sorry, I'm sharing my screen. If there is anything that requires my attention, somebody can just help me quickly speak because I can't see the dashboard. So let me quickly log in. This is my AWS dashboard. So the reason why I'm seeing S3 here is because I have visited S3 before. If all you need to do is to come to this search bar and type S3. It will pop up. So this is S3, and you can see it's quickly giving you a guide to tell you what S3 does. It said scalable storage in the cloud. So S3 is all about storage, where you put your objects. So you click on it. But then, so this is S3. This is how it looks like if you are clicking on S3 service for the first time. So the first thing you need to do is to create a bucket, just like we said from our prerequisite that we must have two buckets, a source bucket and a destination bucket. So now we want to create a source bucket. First and foremost, this is where to create a source bucket. You can see create bucket. So we'll click on it to create our bucket. So this is where we set what we want, name of our bucket, we set every other settings, you see it here. So we'll start by giving our bucket a name. As you can see, okay, sorry, before I go further, I want you to take note of something. Take note of this location. This is where you have your regions. This location right here, up here, we are saying Oregon, Northern California, Ohio, Northern Virginia, and the likes. So it is best practice if you want to do anything on AWS to get to, if your location is not here, it's best practice for you to get the closest location to you. So I'm in Africa, and this is Africa, this is Cape Town, so I'll just choose Cape Town, which is South Africa. So let me pick Cape Town. So we are in Cape Town now. You can see it has changed at the top. This is Africa, Cape Town. So the next thing I need to do is give my bucket a name. So if you read the hint that is stated here, you'll get to understand how to name your bucket, the naming convention and the likes. And then take note that a bucket name can be unique. You cannot have more than one bucket name globally. So we just have to like think of a bucket name that will give, that the name will give our bucket. So let me just say AWS. Let me say source one buckets. I pray nobody has this saved on their system. So the next thing to do is if you want to copy settings from existing bucket, which is optional, this way it will make you fast so that if you have gone through some processes of setting some giving your particular one of your buckets maybe a settings and you want to like duplicate it, you don't need to like do all this. You can just choose your bucket here, browse the bucket name and then click on it and then all the settings will come up. But here we are doing it afresh, so we'll just go further after naming our bucket. Then the next is object ownership. ACL simply means access control list. If we enable this, we are going to give other people that are using AWS, they can be able to have access to our buckets. But for the purpose of this session, we don't want to give anybody access. We just want to do it on our own because we are doing it for practice. So we'll leave it as disabled. Then next, block public access settings for this bucket. This access settings for this bucket simply means, let me give it AWS dash destination one dash objects. Okay, the same thing. We'll leave our ACLs disabled. We'll block all public access because we don't want it to be exposed to the internet. And then our bucket versioning will enable it. And then we'll leave our tags. We'll leave AWS to help us with the encryption. And then no any other settings. We'll create bucket. Create buckets. Okay, thank you. Now that this is showing me, it's telling me that bucket with the same name already exists. That means I have to like touch something. So let me just say 001 and see. That means somebody else is having this type of this exact name I'm having. So let me put 001 and see. You can name it anything. Oh, I think this one is network stuff. Okay, good. The second error was network, but the first error was that there is a bucket like that is existing somewhere. I don't know who. So good. Now we have two buckets. We both have them in Africa, here, Cape Town. This is our source bucket, and in Africa, Cape Town, the same region, and our destination bucket still in Africa, Cape Town. Had it been what I explained earlier, we selected our second bucket to be in Northern Virginia. It will appear here as Northern Virginia, US West 1. So now that we are done with creating our two buckets, we need to set a rule. We need to set a replication rule. That is one of the prerequisites, that we must have a replication rule before whatever we do in our buckets will replicate. So let's cross-check our buckets to ensure that our buckets are empty. So let me open this bucket. You can see this bucket is empty. So let me go back and check the other buckets. So you can see this second bucket too is empty. So now let's go back to our buckets. Here now, this is where we will select which of our buckets we want it to be our source bucket. We can select one of the buckets here. These are two buckets with no object in it. Anything you put inside your object, be it a text file, a video, MP3, MP4, anything you put inside your bucket is called an object. So we don't have any object in it. We have not uploaded anything in it yet. So now we need to select one of it to be our source bucket. You will be the one to select any of the bucket to be your source bucket. So in this case, since we want this one to be our source bucket, which is the first bucket we have created, we'll select this and then we'll do some settings. As you can see, it is empty. So the next thing we need to do is to go to management. This is management. This is where we are going to set the replication rule, which is one of the prerequisites. So if you see, this is lifecycle configuration. No, that's not what we want. This is replication rules. Yes, this is what we want. So we have to set a replications rule. So the next thing we need to do is here, you can see create replication rule is the same thing as this. So we'll click on create replication rule. So in this replication rule, you can also give your replication rule a name. So let's go ahead and say AWS replication same region. I'm just trying to give it a name so that it will not collide with any name. I don't know if the name, the convention here, I don't know if it doesn't accept more than one name, but let's just try and make it unique. The status now here is saying choose whether the rule will be enabled or disabled when created. Of course, we want it to be enabled. That's why we are here. We are setting this rule. It is something you can disable later, but we are setting it enabled because we want it to be enabled. So we'll leave it on enabled. And then you can see here it's just giving us a brief summary of the source bucket. We said this is our source bucket name, which is what we have created. This is the region of the source bucket, and it's in Africa, in Cape Town. So now here it said change rule scope. Remember, all the settings we set here is what will happen to our bucket. So here they said choose the rule. They said limit the scope of this rule using one or more filters. That is to say, we want to limit the scope of this rule of what it will do to objects we have already in the buckets, and then or any object we put in the bucket. But then what we want here is to apply to all objects in the bucket. We want all the objects we put inside our bucket to be replicated in our destination bucket. So what we need to do here is to select this because we want it to happen to all the objects. And then here, destination. If you look closely, this is our source bucket and this is our destination bucket. So we have to do little settings as well for the destination, just like we have done for the source bucket. So for the destination now, instead, choose a bucket in this account, which is this particular my AWS account, or specify a bucket in another account. Like I said earlier, when I started this introduction, I said you can set a policy whereby someone else with another account somewhere can be able to have access to your bucket. But in this case, we want the whatever we put in our source bucket, we want it to be replicated in our destination bucket in the same account. So here, we said choose a bucket in this account. We want to choose a bucket in this particular account, my own account here. So I'll browse. These are the buckets I created. If I have 1,000 of the buckets here, all of them will display here. So I just have to like search by name if they are much. But in this case, I just have 2, which I created together with you in this session. So the destination now, I want it to be this particular destination bucket because this I created to make it my source. I'm not using this. I want whatever I put here to be replicated here. So I'll click on this destination bucket and then choose path. Okay, as you can see, the name of the bucket is here and it's showing me that the destination region is also in Africa, Cape Town, just like the way I have my source bucket here, which is Africa, Cape Town. So the next thing to do is to create a role. IAM role is this is something that has to do with role based. I can be able to give somebody access to some particular things in my company, and I can decide not to give somebody else particular things in my company. Let's say, for instance, I'm a banker and I want to give people a role. I can be able to assign somebody to be the customer care person that will be opening accounts only. I don't want him to make payments. So he will not have access to tailoring. So if I'm giving somebody else access to tailoring, I'm giving him access to tailoring alone. So that person cannot also open an account. So in this case, that is what a role, IAM role comes in. IAM means identity and access management. So if I am giving you that access, this is what I want you to do. If I am giving this person this access, I'm giving him the access of something to do. So if there is any reason that we already have IAM roles in the company and that this particular bucket, we want some people to do some particular things which is limited to them, we can be able to choose from existing IAM roles we already have in the company. Just like we choose this existing bucket here from browse, we can be able to do that here as well if we already have. But in this case, for the purpose of this lesson, we just want AWS to quickly create a rule for us, which we will not even have access to the role. We just want it to create a role for us so that we can just proceed. So we can choose here, create new role, and then encryption. Just like I said earlier, if you want to encrypt your data, and then destination storage, this one too, as the company wants. There are different types of destination storage here. which I wouldn't want to touch for now. It's another lesson on its own. But for now, we'll leave it at default. And then additional replication options. There are additional things that you need. If you want, you can tick them, and if you want, you can leave them. Or this all depends on what your company wants, because it is your manager that will give you instruction that this is what I want you to do. And of course, if you own your company and you want to do it, you know what you want. So if what you want is one of these, then you can be able to tick. But for the purpose of this session, we are just trying to be beginners, not to go deep into it. We can just leave it. The only thing I can draw our attention is this delete marker replication. What this actually means is that if I delete an object from my source bucket, I want it to also be deleted in my destination bucket. Let me come again. If I delete an object from my source bucket, I want it to be also deleted from my destination bucket. So if I click on this, that is what the action does. But I don't want it. Reason is because I am even replicating object because I want it for the primary use or for the primary purpose, which is backup. So if I'm backing something up, why would I delete something here and still want it to be deleted in the other part? So I'll prefer to leave it like this. But if my company asks me to make it like that, I have no option than to do it. So for now, we will leave it like that. But if I click on this and I delete anything from my source bucket, the destination too will also be deleted. But I don't want it, so I'll leave it and then click on save. And then there will be a pop-up, and I'll tell you what the pop-up does. Oh, sorry. I think this is network. Let me say it again. It's network. Okay, good. So now I am done. If you can see at the background here that is blur, is saying replication configuration successfully updated. That means all the configuration I did on this replication rules that I gave a name, it is already okay. So now this pop-up is telling me that do I want to replicate an existing object in my bucket? Let's say, for instance, the source bucket that I opened. Before setting these replication rules, I uploaded some files, which are the objects. Maybe I uploaded some things in the bucket, and then I want it to be replicated in the new bucket, which is the destination. If I want it replicated, of course, I will say, yes, replicate existing objects. And if you click on yes, replicate existing object, all the objects I initially have prior to creating my new destination bucket will be replicated. But in this case, I don't have anything in it, so I just want to start from scratch. So I'm saying no, do not replicate existing object. This also comes with the instruction we get from your office or what you want. If your manager asks you, okay, all what I have in this bucket, I want you to create a backup bucket and then replicate everything in that bucket to the new. You don't have to go one by one and be replicating one by one, one by one. All you need to do is to click on this, yes, replicate existing object, and then submit. After setting up all your replication rule, and everything in your source bucket will be replicated in your destination bucket. So let me quickly leave it as no, because I don't even have anything to replicate. So let me just click on submit. Now I have submitted. I have created my source bucket. I have created my destination bucket, and then I have configured my source bucket with a replication rule because I want it to replicate. So this is the replication rule I created. This is the name we gave it, AWS replication, same region rule. It is enabled because there was a place that asked me if I want to enable upon creating it, and I said yes. So it is enabled here. So this is the destination bucket. This is the bucket we created, AWS destination 1, bucket 201. We created it in Africa, Cape Town. So this is just giving us a summary of what we have done, which is our replication rule. So now the next thing we need to do is to go back to our buckets. Now we have two buckets, which is source bucket and destination bucket. Remember, we only configured source bucket, we didn't configure destination bucket. We don't have anything to configure in the destination bucket. Now, since we have said any object we put in our source bucket, we want it replicated in our destination bucket. Let's put it to practice. Let's upload something in our source bucket and see. So this is our source bucket, which is empty. So we click up on upload. In uploading files to your bucket, you have two ways. You can either drag and drop, or you can add files, or even add a whole folder. So in this case, let me just add a file. Let me just see any file and okay, let me click on this. Hello everyone. So this is what I am uploading. Hello everyone. You can see it here. So after uploading it, let me just click on upload. I'm uploading. I don't need to touch any settings. I'm just uploading that file. So you see, upload successful. So now that I have it uploaded, let me close this and then go back to my bucket. This is the bucket. As you can see, I have it here. So let me quickly go to my destination bucket and see. This is my destination bucket. Let me open it and see. It's loading. As you can see, nothing. We don't have anything here. Reason is because it take like few seconds, not even up to a minute. It takes like few seconds to replicate objects here. So you can see here, this is my destination bucket I opened. I didn't upload anything, but let me refresh and see if what I have done in my source bucket is replicated in my destination bucket. So let me click on this and see. I'm reloading the page. Boom. We have it here. So this is just basically how to replicate your objects from source bucket to destination bucket. So you can see I have it here. I can still go back. You remember, if I upload anything here, it will not replicate in my other buckets. Why? Because I didn't set anything here. There is no replication rule. This is the destination bucket. So let me quickly go back. This is the source bucket. Let me quickly upload another file and then delete it. I think all this is network. Let's see. Let me just upload a file. Another file. Okay, let's see. This is for deletion. Let me open it. I'm uploading this file so that I'll have two files. This is the file I just uploaded now. It's also a TXT document. Let me click on upload. Fine and good. Now I have two files. Let me close this. Let me just. Okay, now I have two files. You can see I have hello everyone. You can open your object if you want to see the content from here. So let me just quickly show you how to open it. You click on this and then this is open. If you open it, it will open the content of your file in the next tab. This is what I typed. It's me that typed this. Hello everyone. This is just a test session. Thank you. We did it. Let me go back and see. This is for deletion as well. Let me open it and see the content. This is for deletion. I typed this with my notepad. I just created a file for us. So let me quickly go to my destination bucket and see if that other file I did, which is this is for deletion. Okay, you can see that I have two files here. I also have two files there. Meanwhile, I uploaded only one file. So let me quickly go back to the source bucket. The reason why I don't want to delete from the destination bucket is because if I delete from destination bucket, nothing will happen to the source bucket because I didn't give destination bucket any instruction. I didn't set any configuration or replication rule for the destination bucket. So anything I do in this destination bucket will not affect anything in my source bucket, but anything I do from my source bucket will affect what will happen in the destination bucket because this is where I set my rules. So I want to delete a file now and see. Remember, there was a place I was explaining. I said if you want to delete a file from your source bucket, it will also delete from your destination bucket. That if you check that box, that is when it will happen. So now I didn't check that box, but I want to delete this file and see what will happen. So I'm deleting this file. That's how to delete. Sorry, I don't know if I was fast enough. So I want to delete the file now. I want to delete a file now. So you see delete object. They said to confirm deletion, type delete because AWS really want to double check that I know I want to delete this file. That's why it's telling me to type delete in the text inbox field. So if I type delete, you can see this delete. It's as enabled. It can allow me to delete. But let's say I type in something error, it will not allow me to delete. You see, you can never delete. So you must be in the know to delete a file. So let me put delete and delete the object. So you see, successfully deleted. I have deleted that object. Let me quickly go back to the bucket and see. This is the bucket, which is my source bucket. And I deleted that file. Let me load and see. You see that this file is deleted. Okay, let me check my destination bucket and see what will happen. This is my destination bucket. You see, this file is still here. So even if accidentally someone deletes a file from your source bucket, you have it replicated in another bucket, which you already set to be your destination bucket. So you see, I still have it here, even though it has left my source bucket. Now, let's check and see the power of versioning that I was talking about. Let me open my source bucket. As you can see, that file is not here. But there is a place I can toggle to see what I have deleted. Even if it is something that was modified, there is a place I can see. So let me quickly show you. This is the place. You see, show versions. This place now will show you a version of what was deleted, what was modified, what was override, or what have you. So let me click on show versions. Oh, I think my network is sorry, it's my network. This is where you see. So you see what I deleted is showing you this sign that is more like an L. So I can be able to retrieve this thing even if it is deleted. You understand? I can be able to delete it. And you see, this is for deletion. If I want it to come back to my bucket directly, if I delete this particular document that is showing me that, you can see the name is the same. This is for deletion. It is the same with this. So if I delete this particular element, this particular item, if I delete it, this one will automatically come back to my bucket. But if I don't want it to come back to my bucket, I can be able to download. So if I click on this place here and I click on download, it will automatically download this file for me. Then I can re-upload. So the option is yours. If it is something you want to bring back to your bucket, you can just delete this. You can just delete this only, and then your file will come back. But if it is something you just want to have a copy somewhere, maybe outside AWS or anywhere, you can be able to just click on this and click on download. So let me just click on this and delete it and see what will happen. So it's showing me I should type in permanently delete. So let me just copy this because I want to delete something, and it's telling me that you want to permanently delete this object, and I'm saying yes. So I'm deleting it now. I have deleted it. So let's go back and check our bucket and see. Whoa, you can see that it's back. Remember, this is our source bucket. I remember we deleted this earlier. So this is back. So having said all this, I can tell you for free that we are done with replicating our objects in the same region. Again, this replication rule we did, you can be able to come here and modify. So let me quickly show you. You see, this is what we have done before. So if I want to edit the rule we have done before, I can be able to click this, and this is edit rule. So if I click on this, I am editing the rule. So you can see this is all what we have done before. Let me quickly go and enable that part where I said if you delete a file here, it will also delete in your secondary bucket or your destination bucket. So this is the place. I'm clicking on this, and then let me save. So I have saved this rule now. Let's go and see. I want to quickly go and delete something from my source bucket. These are my buckets. Let me see. Oh, sorry. Okay, this is my source bucket. I want to delete something. Let me quickly, okay, let me show you the destination bucket as well, so that you'll be sure that you have those two files. You can see we have two files here, and we also have two files in the source bucket. So I want to delete one. Let me delete this hello everyone and see. Let me click on it and then delete it. Let me type in delete and delete it. Choose. I have deleted it. As you can see, I have deleted it from my source bucket. So let me check my destination bucket and see if I'll still see it there. These are my buckets. Let me click on destination bucket. So let me refresh and see. Let me just give it a little time. You see, it has gone. So if you enable that, or you click on that feature, you are telling AWS that whatever I do in my source bucket, I want it to happen to my destination bucket. Basically, that's just it about same region replication. It is the same process for cross-region replication, but remember, before creating your destination bucket, you need to change your region here. So you have to change your region here. So let me quickly go to my slide and see if we still have anything. Okay, I think that's all. Time for questions. I don't know if, although I know I'm using Google Meet and I know the time frame, the time span is 1 hour. After 1 hour, it's cut off. Okay, I can see I still have 5 minutes. So I don't know. Do we have any question? Let me stop sharing my screen. So is there any questions for what you?
Yeah, really good session. Thank you,
All
Abdul
right,
Rahman.
all right, all right. Thank you very much, Nikhil.
Yeah,
Okay, I think the
that's
session will
all.
end in few seconds, although it's recorded, and then I'll send the link for anybody to go back through the. Okay, please. Okay, I can see from the chat somebody saying I should provide my contact details. Okay, I'll drop it in the two groups. I know I contacted like 2 or 3 groups. I'll drop it there, or I'll drop my username, or anybody can just like chat me up privately. I don't want to spam any group. That's why I'm not dropping names and the likes. But if you hit me up privately, I'll send it to you. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Have a nice day.
All right. Thank you. Oh.